DreamLeague live here from DreamHack Winter in Jinjiang. We are here after the first game of Empire versus Alliance. Alliance not able to take the win, but what a game that was. Very even, very back and forth, loads of fights. Loved the IO from Aloha Dance, and that's what I actually want to talk about first, because what a performance he had, especially when he brought back mostly that fight on the bottom lane. What's your opinion on Aloha Dance IO?
I mean, he's played Wisp for a really long time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's known as one of those like really high skill cap players, and I think Wisp is one of those types of characters that you can really shine on when you have high individual skill and good decision making, which I think Aloha Dance exudes in pretty much all of his matches. So I thought it was really good.
Good to hear. What do you think about the game itself, PPD?
I thought it was probably maybe the most exciting game of the tournament. I actually really enjoyed watching it. It was back and forth the whole time, tons of action. I didn't really know who was going to win until the end. The Wisp was amazing. I think Aloha Dance, if we were discussing who might be the MVP, is probably looking like the MVP for Empire.
Yeah, I would say so too. And an exciting game with Viper in the draft. Hero that's not really known for being exciting. Surprising?
Yeah, I think it was a strange game in the sense that Empire, actually, they won all 3 lanes. That's fair to say, right? Axe got free farm, Viper got free farm. I think they also won mid. They killed S4. The Tiny had really good farm too. And then they built this really big lead, and suddenly it seems like Alliance are best at fighting when they're behind. I think what they need to work on going forward is to play their laning stage better. This game, I think Phoenix can't really win that lane. There's no way. You can maybe put Bane up there, then you sacrifice Shadow Fiend. You can put Disruptor up there, then Loda gets completely stomped in the bottom lane. So innately in their draft, they couldn't really solve the problems that they had in order to win more than one lane.
Yeah.
And they've got to find a way of setting that up with maybe a stronger offlaner than Phoenix for that. Although Phoenix was maybe the reason the game got as long as it did.
They had some team fights, so they were able to fight back in the game and come back from behind, even though the lanes didn't go as planned.
The Shivas was huge. But for me, it was like fun at guys. Like, I very, very rarely get to see Axe, and in that game, he farmed so well. He had like 10 minutes. He had like basically Vanguard, like Tranquil Boots, and he just.
It was a really good pick. It's often hard. Axe is kind of a hard pick because he doesn't match up well against tri-lanes, but they saw the early Wisp pick and they said, okay, Alliance is going to be doing dual lanes, and then they saw Juggernaut get picked. We're like, all right, let's dual lane an Axe against a dual lane Juggernaut, and that's a matchup we're always going to win.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of back and forth that game, a lot of fighting. One fight in particular piqued the interest of Shane. We're going to look at a replay.
All right, so this is the fight when they're pushing bottom lane.
I think this is where Wisp buys back.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Huge turning point.
Initially, it's a really bad fight for Empire. The Tiny combo didn't do too much to S4. You got Glimmer Capes, you got Requiem off. Good grip by Ake.
Yeah, and this is where it's still going downhill.
This is the Crimson Guard and work though as well. Like,
Yeah, they took no physical damage from Shadow Fiend here.
There, IO did. Look for the buyback. Look for the Viper, most of all. The Viper is the reason that it's worth for the IO to buy back. That Viper would have been dead 10 times over if it wasn't for that
so
IO.
difficult to focus.
Good TP out from Bulldog here. He at least minimizes their casualties.
Ultra kill.
The
20
thing,
minutes.
I think for Alliance in these teamfights, we're giving a lot of credit to Phoenix for delaying the game. I think the Disruptor had a couple of really key static storms. He actually managed to static storm as IO was tethering in, so he tethers into the kinetic field and gets caught. That fight, I believe he got the static storm onto both as well, secured the Requiem for S4 that almost one-shot the Tiny. That's exactly what they needed to happen. I think Alliance played pretty good teamfights. The main issue for them is just the laning stage went so poorly that even playing good teamfights was not enough to come back. They could fight on even footing, but they never really... How much did they manage to get back out of their gold deficit? They maybe pulled it back a bit, but it never really felt like they could, for example, go and contest Roshan and get an advantage in the game and actually start leading.
They never handedly won a team fight. It was always, they were always losing their Shadow Fiend or losing their Juggernaut and kind of like struggling out of the team fights and making a lot of trades. And when you're already behind, you need one of those overwhelming team fights to go your way in order to get back.
Then one of the fights on the bottom lane, it was lasting for like 3 minutes long. Continuously pushing in, and then you had, according to the commentators, you had Alliance using all their spells, using all their ultimates, and then they're basically kind of done. While for Empire, they could continue fighting after that. Is that a drafting issue, or was that more like they couldn't close the fights out?
They had a clear idea in mind with what they wanted to do. Like Peter and I were talking about it during the draft. You just use the Phoenix as a deterrent for pushing, and you actually just get towers with that lineup. I think that's what Alliance really wanted to do, is going late against IO Tiny with the heroes that they had. They kind of lacked real catch. So you have a disruptor who's good against the relocate when you want to fight because you can glimpse one hero back or just drop a storm on it. But in terms of actually stopping them from split pushing and things like that, Alliance are going to run into issues. So you have like an offline Phoenix, for example. So
they were more on the defensive rather than the offensive where they wanted to be. And that may be because they lost the lanes. Instead of being able to aggressively push towers and force Empire to come into them, they had to defend their towers and kind of try and initiate onto the Tiny and Viper, which was really difficult.
What do you think about like the Bane going middle lane instead of like securing, like zoning out the Axe completely, securing the Juggernaut farm? Like sure, Shadow Fiend takes a hit, but he can kind of farm back with the raises.
In hindsight, it might have been a good idea, but I mean, Shadow Fiend already lost that lane, 2v2. He may not have done so well 1v2, especially S4, a player who's not, he doesn't come up. When you think about S4, he's not that Shadow Fiend player like other players are, so he may not be too familiar with that matchup.
So going into the next game, we have a crowd here that is kind of slightly biased towards Alliance. No offense, guys. What are you going to tell Alliance? What is Alliance going to do to make sure that they actually win the second game and force at least the third game out?
Get better lanes. That's the only, that's the #1 advice. You could look at more detailed stuff, but all of that doesn't matter until they get through the laning stage intact.
And how would you propose to do that? Because they're going to run maybe into dual lanes, into aggressive dry lanes, perhaps?
I think, in this game, the whole idea of sacrificing the Phoenix and then getting teamfights later is okay, but imagine if they didn't manage to get these teamfights. This game could have been an absolute stomp. It was because Empire actually played a bit into their hand and let them try to fight like that. I think Bulldog needs a hero. If he's self-sustaining, he has to have a hero that does better on its own, like a Darkseer, Beastmaster, for example. Or they need both of the supports to be strong in the laning phase. Bane is great, Disruptor is not very strong. They couldn't counter the Axe as a result of that.
Well, the Phoenix was second to last pick, right?
Yeah.
Like the Phoenix was the last pick, and then the Viper was picked after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, in that situation, it's a bit hard, I guess. But I do agree in general.
There are so many counter picks to
I
Phoenix.
just think the Juggernaut and then the follow-up with the Axe pick was perfect from Empire.
Yeah, it was.
Juggernaut had no opportunity. Maybe if they would have tried dodging lanes, throw Juggernaut like in a dual lane off lane kind of situation.
That would have been very good, actually. That's what they should have done. Phoenix can safe lane and take a hit.
Yeah.
That's
Also giving up First Blood was pretty bad for them as well.
We're going to find out what Alliance is going to do different this game, as we did just go into the draft. Alliance has opted to remove the Slaughter from the pool first. They have first pick this series, this game, so perhaps that will give them a slight edge.
And the Radiant as well.
Doom
And
Darkseer
Radiant,
both banned
yes.
again.
This is not a combination that you see often, and Radiant and first pick.
I think Empire might ban Io now. Now they should. I still think they should pick Shadow Fiend. I don't feel like S4 played a bad game. I think
I don't
it
think
was
so,
just a hard game for them. Okay, they go for their signature Tusk. That's obviously understandable as well. Still the best hero for Alliance overall, but Radiant Shadow Fiend.
They can always get it with their second pick. It's not guaranteed that Empire will take it as dire.
Empire don't get it, then it work. And they have their Brood opening actually. That I believe 4 Clovers banned out against them. When Alliance were first pick in that game, they banned Brood in the first phase.
Yes,
That's true.
So with Slaughter banned, how's Gyro for the opening here for Empire against Tusk?
Gyro is
Pretty
very,
good.
very good against Tusk.
Yeah.
You just preemptively call down when there's no
Yeah, it's super easy to
Block
react to
flash.
Snowball and high movement speed.
And like Gyro Dazzle seems like a really strong opening, considering you can go into second phase, ban A if you want. Oh, they're just gonna go Bane.
There's the Bane.
Team Empire.
Bane's always a little iffy into Tusk because they have the Snowball to stop the grip, but the hero, it's still really good. You kind of just have to play around the Snowball a bit. Still great for setting up kills and that BKB lockdown that they may or may not give up Shadow Fiend again. I think it's definitely a possibility.
Well, they're thinking about this quite heavily. Shadow Fiend or let it go through
10
I wouldn't be
seconds
surprised if
remaining.
Alliance let it go.
as well,
Yeah,
even if
Phoenix.
Empire doesn't pick it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure they want to go back to that hero. S4 did play it pretty well. He was up against a really hard matchup in Tiny Wisp, so this game it'll probably be much easier mid lane. But nope, going for the Dazzle
Alliances turn
instead.
to battle.
Next pick is Empires.
I bet SF doesn't get touched. I think it might get touched in second phase. Alliance might pick it.
Shadow Fiend?
I don't think I think it maybe won't get banned by either team here.
Even with the Dazzle, like that combination is very powerful, right? All the minus armor.
Definitely.
I think Empire might want to try to run for their Axe again if they see an opening. Not yet, obviously, but it's still
Against Dazzle?
it's a possibility. They counter each other. It's a little bit of an
Yeah,
interesting
true.
matchup. As far as the laning stage goes, Axe can have a hard time against Shadow Wave, but he obviously Calling Blade goes through the grave. I think it's a pretty good counter initiate to Tusk when you have the blink. There are some potentially useful combos there.
We have probably is a support Night Stalker. Well,
Yeah.
maybe not,
We don't
but
I think they've run it both ways, right? Funix played it
Funix played it
one
offline,
game and then,
that's true.
yeah.
I would like to maybe Funix play it here. There's no Darkseer to pair up with it, so a support Night Stalker might be a little more underwhelming.
Turn to bear.
I think we've seen Night Stalker once or twice as not like a without Darkseer, and he hasn't had the best
It was
success.
MFF with Yapsor actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Empire wisely banning the Brood now.
10 seconds.
Do you think Alliance could have tried for that instead of the Dazzle? Into Bane Night Stalker seems like a pretty good Brood
5
game
seconds
starters.
remaining.
They could have, yeah. There's a ton of counters to Brood, though.
Reserve
Brood's
time.
become much less popular because people are experimenting with more heroes. Like Axe is coming back, Tidehunters coming back into the meta as well. Timbersaw is pretty much back, I think, at this point. All those heroes can solo lane against a Brood and have a huge impact throughout the entire game.
With the pain removed as well.
Team
Looking at
Empires
Alliance's
turn to
two
battle.
heroes that they have picked up so far, how much do you feel like they're revealing from what they're planning on doing, or is it nothing
Not
at all?
much.
It's pretty open. I would expect Tusk to be played by Nuts again, and Dazzle to Ake. The rest of the draft is
10
open.
seconds remaining.
I mean, normally when you see Dazzle, the one thing that I look to is always having that really strong frontline hero that you can siege with. Like, that's why you see Shadow Fiend so much with it.
Reserve time.
But Gyro's banned out from Alliance as well, so Loda's not going to be able to get his hands on that.
Might see a Wraith King from Alliance for Loda.
Yeah.
That'd be very good, actually.
Seems like a nice hero for them.
He's a very good hero to snowball in as well. You don't have to think twice necessarily. In a lot of other situations, like, can I bring my carry in? Wraith King, you just go. And then if you have a good follow-up, he doesn't mind too much being thrown into the middle of everything. There's the Shadow Fiend.
S4 Windrunner and Loda Wraith King.
What do you think of a Templar Assassin for Team Empire here? Like because S4 can play that hero.
TA is fine.
Just with like a counter pick as well. Your dire side, you can
TA
start.
Dire is always good.
Yeah.
There's not. I mean, TA is not like you see like Tusk Dazzle. You're not like, oh, let's get TA. It's kind of
Yeah.
like, you know,
It's okay.
TA is fine here. It's not like Tusk Dazzle counter TA in any way. It's just
It's always nice to just have that one way to secure Roche, though. That's like really easy, you know?
tons of vision too.
Yeah.
Night Stalker with the night vision and then traps everywhere.
5
Pretty easy to
seconds
keep track of your
remaining.
opponents.
Reserve
What
time.
hero would you like to see for Bulldog this game if it's not a Phoenix?
Viper.
Alliances turn to
I think
hit.
it's right now. It's looking like a pretty good Clockwork game. Actually, I know he doesn't play Clockwork a lot, but
Yeah,
it's
he
one of
does
the heroes.
play it, yeah.
I've seen him play it a couple times. Oh,
Team
Furion.
Empires turn
This is
to
the not the first time they've picked this in the Night Stalker either.
They're not afraid of it.
Yeah, but it feels to me like Cinder was saying Alliance have a tendency to not have the strongest lanes, and I feel like it could be happening again. Like Nature's Prophet is not kind of like the lane winning hero that he used to be unless you can find a good 1v1 for him, but it doesn't happen much, and even against Viper, it's not a great matchup.
This could be the Alchemist draft from
10
Alliance though.
seconds remaining.
You know, it does okay against Viper, he just farms.
Yeah, I actually think that
5
Alchemist
seconds
beats Viper in lane.
remaining.
Yeah.
But I think he has to get the PMS, the Poor Man's Shield, right away. And I think that some Alchemists do that. I think when we saw Nikwa play it earlier, Alchemist versus Viper, I don't think he actually did go PMS. And he lost that lane pretty handedly against, was he playing against, was it Miracle? Or, no, it wasn't Miracle.
No.
It was,
The first.
I
Was it
forget.
Vega?
It was Vega.
Yeah, it was no one's Viper.
No one Viper.
Okay, yeah. So he lost that lane pretty bad.
Can't you kind of abuse the spray though when you have corrosive skin? Like you walk into it, you just give him the dot, and then you just like
Yeah,
go in and out.
I think though, like if you play aggressive as Alchemist in the early levels, you can actually bully Viper out of the lane and get like all the CS and go from a quick PMS.
So it's just like
and
levels 1 to
follow.
3 where you have to win basically.
I think so. But with a PMS and a Quelling Blade, it's pretty hard to lose that lane.
Yeah, true. Looking at what Empire have right now, I kind of like the idea of a PL for Alliance here. I think it's very, they have no way of dealing with it really, outside of like
good.
just having good lanes. But
good.
Yeah, PL with Dazzle, I like
Yeah.
that. They have the opportunity to go aggro too with a PL. They could throw, PL Dazzle up there. They'd be just fine. Then Tusk could kind of rotate between, the off lane and the mid, and then throw Furion in a safe lane where he's going to get some farm and experience. But Spear Breaker.
That's B.
Alliances turn
There are
to
a lack
hit.
of disables right now in Alliance. I mean, Tusk is the only one really.
This is rapidly becoming a pretty difficult Nature's Prophet game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of PL. Like I like PL. You pick PL, ban Ember Spirit, and then
Do Empire even play Ember?
I don't know.
But I mean, you would do it anyway.
I've seen like No-Tail playing PL all the time, and I just see nobody banning Ember Spirit. And whenever I ask my
10
team about
seconds
PL, they're like,
remaining.
"Is Ember banned?" They're like, no, and like, okay, unplayable. Like, at TI, like Fear was like, or not TI, but
Turn to
when
ban.
PL was relevant again, like that was the one hero. Like if we wanted to pick PL, Ember had to be out of the pool.
Yeah.
Just it's so hard to play PL once Ember gets.
It's like on demand. The illusions are dead every 6 seconds. You know,
Exactly.
once
Your
like
illusions are useless, and your hero takes so much damage.
yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
The combination of your Wind Ranger and Wraith King is still in the pool, by the way.
Oh yeah.
5 seconds
Still on par for that.
Wraith King.
In the sense that
It's
Empire are going to
interesting.
want to fight a
Against
lot, Wraith
Viper?
King
Yeah,
gives me a
it's
bit.
rough against Viper. It's pretty good against Bane. It's pretty okay against Spearbreaker as well.
Turn to ban.
Or the Night Stalker, it's a wash. It's whatever. Not awesome against Viper, but can be fine.
How about carry a Batten?
Carry a Batten.
Well, offlane to bed.
10 seconds
No,
remaining.
don't carry a Batten in this game.
Abaddon is actually a
That being
really
said,
good
they-
pick against Empire, but they
S4
don't
might
have the carry.
play. I bet S4's playing the Wind Ranger, but I would expect something very spacey to be picked up last year. They already have Furion and Wind Ranger cores, along with the Dazzle Weave or some.
Spectre?
No, I
like
think
as in, like
more like
Ganker.
yeah, more aggressive. Something
Okay,
with
okay,
something
okay.
with a stun or
Sven.
yeah, Sven.
But is he also not going to have issues with Viper cutting him around?
Yeah.
I think this is a hard spin.
And Bane. Ugh. Not great.
I
I
mean,
just
if
think
you,
they don't need another carry. Like Wind Ranger Furion is enough carry.
I'm trying to think.
Well, then the Ember can still work out.
Panda. I mean, maybe Loda plays Wind Ranger. I'm not sure, but Panda could be really good for Alliance. They need some team fight, I
Team
think.
Empire.
Everybody plays Wind
Turn
Ranger.
to pick.
Everybody. Plays
Almost
Wind
everybody.
Ranger. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure Loda can play it.
Yeah, I think so.
since Shackle Shot went from being like a 10-degree ability to a 35-degree ability in Dota 2, it's a lot easier.
It actually...
It makes no sense.
It's actually so much different from Dota 1. It's
And the
one of the
ra-
most different heroes in the pool.
The range is just so much bigger as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Could they do a support Wind Ranger, actually?
5 seconds remaining.
And Core Tusk,
Yeah.
I think they're pretty committed to Bulldog playing Furion and then
Yeah.
Nuts playing
Reserve
Tusk.
they
time.
had a-
10
Although I
seconds
do
remaining.
remember Loda playing some Tusk back in the
Yeah,
day.
back way when.
They did like
with,
Tusk.
with IO Treant.
Yeah, IO Treant Tusk.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, the preemptive Ember.
Yeah.
Empire are going to pick it up. Maybe they were anticipating the PL coming out here from Alliance.
Yeah, would have been good. Not anymore though.
Whatever, just Centaur, Loda, let's go. Come on.
Yeah, Centaur.
Yeah.
Centaur could be.
Also got
it's
a
Oh!
Ranger.
All right, all right.
Against
Okay.
Spearbreaker, Night Stalker,
Curveball.
That's a very ballsy pick. Which draft do you favor?
Empires.
Spearbreaker's been a pretty controversial hero. Not sure how good that hero is. I see a lot of teams picking him up, and he looks good on paper, but he just seems to never work out.
Would you then say that Alliance has a better draft here?
It all depends on how Drow does. Drow gets, free farm in his lane, early level 6. I think they're in a good spot, but
Drow Wind Ranger is super good too.
if Silent's able to farm up early, get his bottle, get his level 6, start roaming around, he can do a lot of work.
How often is it Drow's ultimate updates? Is it like every second with the search range for is anyone within range to break it? How often does that?
What do you mean?
So if you're
I
close
think
to
it's,
Drow, she
I
loses
think it's
her
like
ult,
all
right?
the time, yeah. Like,
It's constant.
It's constant, yeah.
Okay.
It is time to find out if Alliance is perhaps leaving the ASUS ROG DreamLeague without getting a single win here on LAN, or if they can force out a third game here against Team Empire. OD Pixel and Luminous, take it away.
Indeed, thank you very much. We're back here on the casting panel. It's myself, and we're getting ourselves straight in because there's a little bit of action. And the shards were dropped. We did actually have a smoke up from Empire straight up as they were looking to fight. And they weren't quite able to find anything. They are still sticking around for if they can find a Nightmare, they'd love to go. Although Ardan's desperately trying to move forward, and it's not going to be able to get it in. So Empire will back up. But anyway, Lumi, Alliance versus Empire, game 2. The Drow Ranger, is this the game for the Drow?
I don't think it is, but
S4? I mean,
S4
S4's
knows
coming
better.
back around it. They know that they're there. There's the Nightmare. Doesn't really work there with the charge. S4's kind of trapped in the midst of it all. Nuts trying to move in, but S4 is going to give up the first blood there. Bane will try and get himself around the tree line. Is going to be able to make it. And Alliance might lose Nuts as well. The slow from Resolution coming in. Nuts trying to get themselves away. Alliance desperately trying to find a kill in return, but they might give up 2 here. The heal comes through. It's not going to be enough to save Nuts. 2 down on the side of Alliance. And not the start that Alliance were hoping for there, as Resolution will be able to get himself the bounty rune as well.
not like this, man. Not like
And
this.
Silent got the so Silent get 2 kills and 2 bounty runes. I don't think you're starting a game any better than that, Lumi.
Yep. Great advantage. I mean, the thing that Cinderwin was talking about is win the laning stage. Drow Ranger, a decent laner, because of the plus damage you give to everybody, as well as Windrunner mid, but giving away so many kills and so many runes kind of nullify any laning advantage that you could have had. Top lane charge, not going to complete, but hey, make him scared a little bit.
Right, just keeping Bulldog on the edge here. I mean, talking about the lanes, the matchups that we've got, I mean, what can we expect to see from both sides? Anyone coming out on top in terms of this laning stage?
Right now, they just don't have an answer for a Spirit Breaker charge, right? He could just charge him without impunity to the Prophet every day, all day, every day. He could charge the Drow Ranger as well. So I feel depending how the Spirit Breaker plays, he could just put a ton of pressure in conjunction with the Bane that they already have. Funnick, I imagine, might have a tougher time if the supports rotate away, but never mind. He's got the Pro Man shield. He's just actually like tanking everything, and he doesn't really care.
Just Funnick and Aloha Dance contesting this pull through that Nuts and Ake are trying to get off. I'll be able to take a few of the CS from it as well by the looks of it. So this aggression from Empire working out very nicely with this dual lane. But at the same time, there's space being given here to Loda on this Drow Rangers. He will be able to CS up and not have to worry too much about these supports, just well, focusing on trying to disrupt the pull. Oh, Nuts and Ake still kind of teasing with them. Funnick's going to drop down the Void. Loda's now come in.
Shards could be big
They
here.
might be able to get a kill here. They'll drop the Nightmare down onto Nuts. Funnick actually moving into Loda with the Void. Alliance might be able to come out on top. Ake's going to go down. Bit of a mess here, but this could be 2 for Alliance. They'll find the Bane. Funnick, he's going to have mana for the Void in a few seconds, but he's got to get himself away, and Alliance will get the kills. And they're going to hold off on that one. Let it go to Loda. But okay, that's what they needed. A couple of kills there that Loda gets himself involved in. Picks up one for himself.
So that's a bit of slight miscommunication by the side of Alliance, because Loda was hitting on the Bane, or sorry, hitting on the Night Stalker at the beginning of the fight, and then they switched over to Bane. And that kind of 2-3 seconds of right-click missing got their Dazzle killed in the first place. So even though they got 2 kills on Loda, it could have been a lot cleaner for Alliance. But still, advantage going back on the side of Alliance, at least on the bottom lane. Mid lane matchup here, CS-wise, you do see the Windrunner pulling slightly ahead, but I imagine the lane's going to be a wash. I don't know, Viper has been doing very well so far in this tournament, just getting really fat and
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good Viper performances.
unable to be
That's for
killed.
sure.
But this is the one game where I think Viper might have a tougher time. Bottom lane here, another shards. Nice tango out, but the snowball's going to go in.
Let's see if they can get it. They're moving on to Bane. Bane will turn around with the brain. Sappers the Nightmare onto Loda. Bulldog's coming as well. And Loda's trying to walk this one off to the left, but Nuts and Ake chase him down.
Oh,
Should basically
denied.
get the deny. No,
No.
he can't. Ake will get the kill onto Aloha Dance. And Bulldog will simply TP back out. Funnick's going to be able to keep himself safe. But again, another kill for Alliance. Bringing it to 3 for 3 on the board.
Yeah, the Frost era really kind of going to work here for Loda. I imagine this game is going to be one of the few games where Viper will die, because there's so much range right-click damage coming out, especially through that focus fire. If S4 has good enough farm, I think the Viper can get killed. You don't have any great defensive spell like, Grave, for example, or Co-Embrace that we normally see in a lot of the other
Lower
games.
Dance, again, coming out just a little bit too far. Potentially the Gust comes out from Loda, silencing up
Great
both
shards.
the Bane and the Night Stalker. The shards are out. He'll Nightmare himself, maybe hoping for some kind of deny, but it's not going to happen. They'll find themselves the kill. Ake graves himself up. They're just kiting around Funnick. Funnick will try and move in. Can he get himself the kill?
Oh, the
Ake with the
juice.
juice, but the Void comes through. Funnick will find the return kill. Now he's trying to get himself out, but again,
And
Nuts
those
with the
shards.
shards, holding him in. Funnick will pop the stick charges, but the snowballs there. The right clicks for Loda, are they going to be enough?
Loda's out
He's
of
actually
mana.
out of mana, doesn't have enough for the slow. 6 seconds until the arcane boots are up on Nuts.
Given the fact that there's so much fights going on, a power shot barely clips him. I'm surprised that Spirit Breaker is only charging to the bottom lane now, because imagine there's a fight where Spirit Breaker is just on the Drow Ranger. I don't think Loda's going to be able to output so many Frost Arrows. So I feel like Empire could have played the bottom lane much better than they have, but the game now is evened up at 4-4. Ember, though, is free farming.
He's
on
getting
top
a lot
lane.
of farm.
Yeah.
You compare his farm to Loda. Yes, Loda's been involved in maybe more kills, but yeah, 31 CS at the moment on this Ember Spirit. Silent's going to be very happy with the lane that he's been given, having no issues with trying to lane against this Nature's Prophet. And as you were saying earlier, Resolution still with the edge in this mid lane on the Viper.
Yeah, but you can see, Owen, why that Alliance really want to pick that Tusk early.
Gust
Nice
from Loda will cancel
He's
the
gonna get
charge.
blocked.
Funnick. He's
Oh,
looking
no.
for the
Oh,
body
the
block. Get the
creeps.
creeps. Oh,
Please,
no.
creeps.
Okay, yeah, but
Great
Bulldog
sprout.
actually able to push him out with a sprout. Saving Loda. Loda trying to turn with the right clicks, getting the slant to Funnick.
They'll back out. Mid lane looks
mid
like
lane. Okay, Ake went in with the help of Nuts and S4. They got themselves the kill. Win Ranger with the double damage.
Yeah.
Do lose Dazzle for it, but we've already been talking about how well the Viper's doing, so I think Alliance will be happy with that one.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, you can see why they prioritize the Tusk so much in the drafting stage. I mean, Nuts so far has been really setting up multiple kills with those great placement of shards. It feels like when they have this hero, they have the early game more on lockdown. They're able to look for picks. They're able to really fight, despite against Bane and Spiritbreaker. These are normally the heroes that win the early laning stage. Nuts says, I don't care. I'm on the Tusk.
He's been doing a lot of work indeed. No fear. He's going to get himself around this as Nuts was backing up onto this bottom lane and is being followed by S4. So if Nuts spots someone out here, could be in trouble. Funnick. He's playing it safe. The pings come out. They know that S4's made his way all the way down to this bottom lane. And we're actually going to see Loda now come into the mid. No fear still hanging around on the Spirit Breaker on Loda. Well, we'll see if they're able to do anything, Empire. Interesting to see if Resolution can make his move over. He does have level 7. He's got the Viper Strike. The pings are coming out onto Loda. They know he's there in his Resolution, moving around. But Loda, he's going to play it safe, keep it cool, and actually just going to back up by this tier 2. Or whether they may be looking for him elsewhere. Funnick just forcing S4 right back. So a bit of an interesting swap of the lanes here. So S4 coming away from mid and trying to give Loda some space here so he can get that level 6 online.
Yeah, the big problem is that Prophet has been taking the space on the bottom lane, and there's nobody contesting Ember up top. Bottom lane, it looks like they're going to try to make it on Admiral Bulldog. The charge is going to come in right now here. Admiral Bulldog will have Grave backing him up, and Shackle Shot does hit on
S4
two.
might be able to turn it.
They
but
don't have enough damage.
Silence coming on the Ember Spirit. This could be the turnaround. They were going to move in with the Flame God as well. Bulldog ticking low. Viper Strike comes out. They found 2 Empire. They're trying to move in for more. Nuts and S4 retreating into the tree line. 4 on the side of Empire, closing forward. They'll charge forward. They get the bashes onto S4. They'll also find the kill onto Nuts. Double kill for Bane. And a really nice fight for Empire. And we've talked about Silent before, how active this man could be. And he manages to get himself involved in all 4 of those kills. They're getting 4 assists from that rotation.
This is why the panel didn't really prefer Alliance's draft, because when they do the run at you, Shred, what do you actually do as Drow Ranger and Prophet? These are some of the squishiest heroes that you could pick in Dota. So I don't know exactly what the plan is for Alliance, but they got to dig deep, because Spiritbreaker will never stop charging at you.
And in a similar situation as well to the first game with the net worth of individual heroes. The 3 highest are all on the side of Empire. It is still fairly close, and it is early days, just 8 minutes in.
Unfortunately for Alliance, they don't have that big team fight that they could have leaned back on. I mean, last game they had the Static Storm, they had the Phoenix ult, they had the Shadow Fiend mech and ult. What do you actually have for this game for team fight, as you start losing these tier 1 towers and they just keep running at you?
Oh, Silent with this invis. If he finds Loda, that would be a very nice pick-off here for the man. Loda. He's aware that something may be going down. Silent. Can you find anyone, Loda? No, Silent says you're going to look towards the mid. Might go for the easy kill on Ake. Things are coming out. Rest of Empire moving in. Loda staying around with the camp, and yeah, they'll go for Ake. Straight in. He'll pop the Grave. There's a charge coming through as well.
They got Gus.
Yeah, Ake's gone. There's no way he lives through this one, and he'll go down. Ember Spirit taking yet another kill. Silent really making this hero work this game. No fear. The tree line, there'll be a TP towards the mid from S4. They might try and fight, but Empire's so ready to fight. And they're so ready to go. The charge, bashing through onto 3. The chains are there. They will get out the snowball, picking up S4, but the Void there with the slow. S4 gets silenced up as well. That's getting bashed up. Can they look for anything more? No one to drop. Yeah, on the side of Alliance. The shards now coming out, but Silent Remnants away. Empire taking a power shot, but they charge back onto Nuts. Void as well. Resolution pops the buckler. Empire just getting themselves back up to the high ground. They're going to go back in on this one. The shards fly out. Oh, that's a nice shard. Trapping up 3. They'll have to go for the long way around. Actually, no, they can still get the range onto Nuts. Nuts gets healed up. There's the Nightmare onto Bulldog. No fear getting incredibly low, but he'll be able to get himself out just in time. There's the Remnant back in. Silence ready to go. Going in with the Flame Guard. The damage is too much. Loda's ticking down. And Loda being healed up. Will he go down? He will. They'll find 2. They get Nuts as well on the Tusk. And Empire trying to move forward for more. Chains are up. If you can close in onto Bulldog, he should be able to get this one. Bulldog trying to get himself around, but the chains are indeed there. He'll get healed up, but Ake's got to run. There's no Shallow Grave available. Bulldog drops it as well. And again, Empire just outplaying the side of Alliance in these engagements. Silent will go down. S4 with the TZ finds a big kill in return. And if they could find the Bane as well. Oh, Bane with the brain sap. He might pay with his life though. Nuts is there with the snow. Okay, so Alliance do manage to rectify it a little bit with 2 kills off the back.
But that's off a double damage by S4. I don't know where he's getting these runes, but it's really saving them. Unfortunately, again, for Team Alliances, their hero's just not good for fights like that. They don't have good disengage. They don't really have good catch either. The only reason they're actually getting any kills, again, is off the Tusk. And you cannot expect your Tusk to keep hitting those eye shards after eye shards after eye shards. Top lane looks like we're going to see a little bit of teleport in. But
they're ready to go. Oh, they try and go for the shackle,
one.
but S4 is going to whiff it. There's a charge still coming through onto Bulldog. Bulldog in so much trouble. He'll go down. Let's see if they can move forward for more. They get the Nightmare onto S4. S4 could potentially be in trouble. 2 seconds until the chains. He's going to try and get himself away with the Wind Rubber Silent. He gets the chains onto S4 and Loader. S4 getting low. They will use the Shallow Grip to keep S4 alive. They'll turn around the power shot, but they've already lost Loader. The Brain Sap's there to finish him off. S4's going to go down as well. And the charge onto Ake. They're not done yet, Empire. They want to find more, and they're going to get the Dazzle. Double kill for Resolution. And this time, Alliance won't be finding anything in return. They might even be losing more. Nuts tries to snowball himself away, looking for the TP out, but the Void's there. They'll end up losing 4 in quick succession. Alliance and Empire are certainly turning up this series and looking to go for another very convincing performance here in Game 2.
I don't know, man. Alliance, they don't have a fighting lineup, but yet they're choosing to fight nonstop. And granted, it's Empire taking the fight to them, but I think right now, if you're Alliance, you got to dig deep, avoid these fights as best as you can. It's hard to do it against Night Stalker and Spirit Breaker, but it must be done or this game is completely over. The best fighting hero they have is the Tusk and Wind Ranger. Maybe these 2 heroes just pair up and start, playing like a counter ganking party, or maybe start to gank on their own. But for the most part, they need key items, they need key levels, and they just have no space. Team Empire.
They certainly need something. Looking at the Ember Spirit, yeah, that's going to be what the Boots of Travel now done. As he gets the recipe sent out, so Silent's going to be able to be even more active around the map. Not that he hasn't been already. He's been involved in 11 of the 19 kills. 12 minutes in, very active on the Ember, which is exactly what Empire need, and exactly why I felt that in the draft that this hero was absolutely perfect for Empire's playstyle.
Yeah. I recall I was saying something that Viper might die this game. He probably won't die for the next 10 minutes unless he completely overextends. Given the fact that he has a magic wand and a mech finish now, he will just run an Alliance and he will be immortal.
Alliance are grouped up behind this tier 1. And they try and fight. We've already seen so far how the fights have just not been working for them. Fortification will come out, but Empire, they'll persist, and they'll look to try and get the last hit on this Sahara. And there's going to be a charge from the sidelines. Funny comes in as well with the Void onto Loader. Loader's going to be the first to fall, and he will drop. That's your Drow Ranger down. S4 getting caught out. There'll be a Shallow Grave buying him some time. He gets out a power shot, but that's going to be that. S4's going to fall as well. 2 down on Alliance. Ake getting dove by Empire. They dive past the tier 2. They dive past the tier 3, and they're not done yet. Nuts tried for the TP out, but the chains was there. He has got a snowball, but Empire having no mercy this game. Wishing to try and break down Alliance, and they're certainly doing it so far. Nuts will fall, and again, another 4-for-0 trade favoring Empire as the scoreboard now sits 23-7 at just 14 minutes, Lumi.
Alliance is not back. Not yet.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Doesn't feel like
maybe
it.
next DreamHack.
It's not looking great for them. Not at all. The net worth for these heroes. Viper, as you said, is so stacked. 7k at the moment. The tier 2 now dropping in the mid lane. Empire, they're going to back up. We're going to see Silent just head up to the top lane. Get that push out. Bulldog himself was trying to find some space up here.
Okay, he's got the mech finish. All right, that's a little bit of something for fights.
Roshan is up. Empire, I guess they don't really have the best lineup to take it, so I don't know if they'll look towards that yet. But yeah, as you said, the mech on the Nature's Prophet is going to be something to add to these fights, but we've already just seen how much Alliance are struggling to actually go against Empire's line. And when you look at the heroes, I guess it's no surprise. Empire's heroes are so much better suited to doing what they're trying to do at this point of the game.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if Loda is playing some sort of early fighting core, like a Gyrocopter or a Juggernaut, something that could be a little bit more impactful in these fights. Sure, the Drow Ranger will be able to pick up, 2-3 kills in the laning stage, but...
Look at this. Is he going to commit to this one? No, he's not. He's not. No fear. Just with the charge. And here we go, the tier 2 on the bottom lane. Empire starting to push. Alliance, have they got an answer? It doesn't look like they have for this one. Empire will still stay strong here. Silent, 1300 gold now built up on this Ember Spirit. Bulldog desperately trying to push top. Loader's there as well. That's going to be a charge targeted on Bulldog, and he's going to TP himself straight back to the base. But Alliance, they need a huge game plan here to turn this one, Lumi.
I think if they could last long enough till Ag Scepter, maybe on Prophet, maybe you could just draw the game out, but...
It's a long way away.
Yeah, that's
it's a little bit of a pipe dream.
Oh, sometimes you gotta dream, right?
Oh, it's going to be up to Alliance to try and make their dream a reality here. And Empire are, of course, going to be there waiting to stop it and make sure that the nightmare for Alliance is real.
Actually, never mind about the Acceptor, because Bulldog's looking to fight with the...
Okay, getting the Vlad up.
No, the Orchid
Night
setup.
Stalker.
Yeah.
Yeah, Orchids. Okay, they get the Shackle onto No Fear. But again, this is just holding back at the side of Empire. They may be able to control them a little bit. The Shards have blocked No Fear out, but they just can't throw themselves in at this lineup as Empire find the space for the tier 2.
Empire is playing really calm and collected right now. Because, again, the only way they lose is, you know, diving into tier 4 towers.
Bulldog, he is so dead. There's chains on him, a charge for as well. He'll pop the mech, but the bash is coming out into the Nether Strike for No Fear. Bulldog will fall. Silent now on a killing spree on this Ember Spirit. More money into the bank of the Fiery Boy. It's 2.5k gold now picked up on top of the boosted travel.
The other thing that we haven't really been mentioning is, apart from getting a Shackle Shot on Silent, there's actually no way for them to lock him down. So Silent is just not dying at this point on.
The smoke up here from Alliance. Resolution's actually farming very aggressively here, and this could be a free kill with a Shackle Shot.
Right.
Resolution.
Maybe.
Getting, the mech. Oh, is he going to live here? Oh, he is. The Glimmer Cave's there. They can't kill Resolution. Even though it looks like they pretty much caught him on their own. There was the time for the rest of Empire to turn up. S4 goes down. Nuts is going to fall as well as Resolution gets a double kill. They ram them forward. The charge is there onto Loader. They'll pick up the Drow kill, and GG's called. Alliance are out of the LAN, and Empire take the series 2-0. A little bit of a disheartening performance there from Alliance, but we can't take away from the fact that Empire just played very, very well, Looney.
I mean, the draft just really did not favor what Alliance wanted to do. I think they expected a lot more of the laning stage, but Spearbreaker and Night Stalker just was so much meaty hero up in the front that they just can't deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, Alliance, they went for that range strat, they went for the Drow Ranger, but it's always going to be a bit of a risk trying that against these CIS sides like Empire. Say, all right, we're just going to pick a Spirit Breaker and a Night Stalker and run straight at your face.
I mean, if you have, like, let's say a Visage, a very common partner with a Drow Ranger, at least Visage gave you some burst power. When they ran at you, you could have, you know, burst them down. But that lineup also didn't really have any burst. They had Tusk and Power Shot. That's pretty much it. At the rest, you're looking at Prophet right-click, Drow Ranger right-click. That's not killing anybody quickly enough.
Well, indeed. And Empire, congratulations to them. They take the series 2-0. They're going to be very happy with that performance. 28-7 in a matter of 17 minutes. That was classic Empire for you guys at home and here at the venue. But that's it for the series. We're going to head straight back over to the panel to hear what they have to say about the result from Alliance versus Empire.
I think that Empire, after yesterday playing until about 2 a.m., thought, we're going to go home early today. Boom, 17-minute game. Easy. It looked easy. They made it look easy. How did they make it look so easy to beat Alliance?
They had a, what do you call it? Face rush lineup, I guess?
Yeah.
Just in your face, Night Stalker, Spirit Breaker, Ember, just all roll in. And they're playing against a lineup that needs time to scale before it gets strong. Nature's Prophet's not strong early on. Drow Ranger isn't strong early on. Alliance simply just didn't, they actually didn't get to play their pick. The game was that fast.
I mean, if you watch what Funnick and Aloha Dance did bottom lane, like that poor man's shield on Funnick, it took so long for him to die, even when they killed him that one time. And every single time other than that, if you looked at the CS, Silent had a totally free lane. He had 43 CS when Noda had like 17. And at that point, Funnick still was out farming the safe lane Drow. And that was a tri-lane versus a dual lane. And then No Fear also had the freedom to do whatever he wanted as a Spirit Breaker, because top lane, Ember Spirit versus Nature's Prophet isn't that bad of a matchup for the Ember. I mean, there was just so much freedom. Like Empire could do whatever they wanted that game.
Oh boy. It seemed like anytime Alliance in that game got even a tiny bit on the back foot, they were just doomed. You know,
Yeah.
because they have this like flaming man jumping at them, the Spirit Breaker's charging through. Like, well, what do you do?
I actually don't have an answer.
I don't think in this current metagame and with how fast some of the teams are playing,
Yes.
I don't think you can play Prophet Drow together. I think it's way too weak. If you do, the other 3 heroes need to have like ridiculous spell burst. The Wind
You know-
Ranger needs to be a Lina, and one of the supports, like the Tusk
Tusk is
actually has
good.
okay damage, but Dazzle doesn't. So
Yeah.
Alliance, simply put, didn't have enough damage to take fights, and they couldn't dodge them either because they were just running them under their tower. So strategically for me, this might, unfortunately for Alliance, I mean, it sucks, right? Going into a tournament like this with probably pretty high expectations, losing every game. This game, I think, was the biggest outdraft of the tournament.
Yeah.
It was very difficult to see a win condition for them, apart from avoid fights for 25 minutes while still getting farm, and then scale. And that just doesn't happen nowadays.
I still feel like at the very end, they might have wanted to go PL, but then the last pick, Ember from Empire,
is
kind
true.
of
The
made it
Ember-
like really hard, right? So maybe he was just thinking to himself, okay, we need a way to actually like all in this now, because there's not another hero that we can pick that's going to be strong enough, I don't think, at that point. So
But Drow, would it then be the best option?
I think there were better options. I
Yeah,
know
the fighting heroes, like the Centaur that we talked about during the draft. I think even anything really.
Loda has a pretty big hero pool. I think he plays a lot of different
plays a
stuff.
lot,
And I mean, it's kind of sad to say. I think out of the entirety of Loda's hero pool, this was the worst pick they could go for this kind of draft. Imagine, I don't know if, let's say, for example, a less standard safe laner that he could play. His Slardar, I think it was banned this game, but think of a hero like that that can actually fight and join and do damage. The casters also pointed it out. Imagine if Loda in that lane plays a Gyrocopter or Juggernaut. I know for a fact those two were banned, so that's not
Yes.
an option, but there are more fighting carries in the Dota 2 pool. And even if Ember counters your PL, at least you get a fighting chance. I still think PL being hard countered that game by Ember would have been a better pick for Drow.
Because later on in the game, you have the Nature's Prophet to fall back on anyways, as well as the Wind
Even
Ranger.
if a little bit of
You can maybe
magical burst.
itemize to counter the Ember. You can get like an
Yeah.
Orchid Hex, Necro Book, maybe just push towers. But again, what Alliance need to do is to not get crushed in the lane stage. What we said going in, and they got crushed even harder. So they didn't adapt to the problem.
It was a 17-minute game. Surprisingly, there's still a replay found of a good fight. Let's take a look.
Alright, so this replay is basically when they try and bait the TP in and go for the shackle shot. But you see the weakness of Alliance drafts right here. The second, all of a sudden, okay, we're on the back foot. But what can they do? They can never escape. They don't have any damage, any way to fight anything.
running away from Ember Spirit, Spirit Breaker,
Viper even?
yeah, it's very difficult in this engage. I think Libby mentioned that during the cast as well. There's no way for them to actually get out once the
No.
fight starts going bad for them. They just lose everyone,
So
basically.
you can't run, you can't fight back, and you can't really dodge fights entirely. That's a recipe for a very, very difficult game, unfortunately. This is a really nice attempt from Nuts here,
Yeah,
showing great prowess with the hero, but there's only so much you can do. I think he played a great Tusk this game, but it's just not enough.
There was so much on him in that,
Yeah.
just to make all of the aggression and put the... It was just too much.
Empire opened with Bane Night Stalker, right? That was their opening.
Yeah.
And then it was Tusk Dazzle support, like, already. So
Yeah.
at that point, you're pretty much forcing yourself into a situation where you need to pick fighting heroes as
Your
cores.
cores need to deal damage.
Yeah.
It's,
So a Viper fit very well into Empire's lineup, fighting all the time. It was Resolution playing the Viper, and we have a chance to talk to Resolution in Winner's interview. Welcome back on the desk, Resolution. Congratulations once again.
Yeah, hello.
So you played two heroes today. Queen of Pain for the first series of the day, Viper for the second series of the day. Would you
And
say
Tiny.
and Tiny?
play one time.
Tiny. How would you? Do you like Viper as in your hero?
Yeah, it's a great hero when you just push an opponents and can make some... I forget the word.
Fights.
Yeah, some fights and fights. Okay.
I want to ask about the Axe pick. The Axe pick in the first game for Funnick, was that his idea or was that your idea? Like,
Axe pick, just think about a few heroes like Axe, Omni Knight, and can't remember. A Striker, and we decided to pick Axe.
No Omni Knight.
yeah, I would have loved to see an
That would have been fun. What were your thoughts on the draft of Alliance in this last game after they picked up the Drow Ranger?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised, but they played a few games in the past by this strategy, and I know we just picked our aggressive heroes and just dive in.
Okay, and so when your team is playing, especially this game, you're fighting all the time. Which player do you have the most control or the most problems controlling or is shouting like, let's go, let's fight? Is there anybody in your team that is like really vocal like that?
At these games, it was Fanik, I guess. The first one who called, yeah, go, go.
Well, it worked out, that's for sure. Congratulations on making it to the top 3. Now, we are going to still have another game, the Winners Bracket Finals. It's going to be OG versus Four Clovers. What's your thought on that matchup?
I guess OG much stronger than Four Clovers, but Four Clovers also playing good, great games. Like they show us in the past. So I don't know. For CL can win still.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out if that is the case. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us, and have a great evening. You ended a lot earlier than yesterday. This is pretty nice. We are going to take a look at the brackets and see what's coming up next. So we have one match remaining for this evening. It will be OG taking on Four Clovers and a Leprechaun. Four Clovers have had an amazing run this tournament. They have surprised a lot of people by performing as well as they are doing right now. And we're going to see if they can continue their run against the Frankfurt Major winners, which is definitely probably the biggest challenge here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague. If you want to be kept up to date with the brackets, with all the games, with all the items of the players, with all the heroes and their skill builds and everything you can think of regarding the games that we have here, go get yourselves the eScore eSports app, or the theScore eSports app, and you can get that at Google Play or iTunes, so make sure you check that out. We are going to take a short break, and when we're back, it is time for OG versus Four Clovers.